Our next speaker, which I'd like to invite up to stage, is Rüdiger Stolle. He's the head of engineering at Power Lines. Rüdiger started in OLE in 1993 as a project manager on light rail and third rail systems in Berlin, and then moved on to working in projects in the US. From 2004 to present, Rüdiger is the head of engineering at Power Lines Group. He's a member of the German National Committee for the EU Standards and is working in Deutsche Bahn on OLE BIM standards as well. He's going to share his experiences, his European experiences. So please welcome onto stage, Rüdiger.
Good morning. Yes, I was asked to bring in some outside views into this forum. And it's a big pleasure, it's a big honor. It's a pleasure we will see at the end, but it's a big honor to be on this stage and bring in some, maybe those outside views and some contributions to your discussions. These are my points. I want to talk to you. And let's start with probably the most important thing, which is the money thing. Lord McLaughlin stressed that out. There's always a cost pressure on our projects, and without money, there's no industry. And so I thought I'd try to give you some ideas how it could be done, how we do this, especially maybe in Germany and in Austria. It's a money thing, and when we talk about money, it's always like funding, and it's very simple. You can see these are those diagrams, yeah? And if I would explain this one just to you, I probably would need an hour or so, and then neither nor I have understood that completely. So there are a lot of ways of funding railway infrastructure. I just want to keep on those two left strings on the left side a little bit more. The rest we just keep for future presentations. And so I want to stress out the importance of funding for the railway industry, and especially of the constant funding. The constant funding is just the key to develop a railway industry which is really able to perform in the way we have just seen in the predecessor presentations, that we can build a big project because we need to mobilize people and technique. And both is not easily to mobilize within just a few weeks or months. We need years to mobilize staff and technique. So that's why the constant and long-term funding is so important for us, for all of us. And I think this is probably true for each country, wherever we are. We need this contribution, this commitment from our governments that we have this constant funding. And why we need this, I want to point out a little bit more. We had in 2000 a major drop in funding, and that really made bad things because all the companies demobilized their people, especially the people on site were demobilized, and we are still facing problems of this major drop in the 2000s because the people were gone. So let me explain a little bit further how it could be done. One thing is the constant funding. The other thing is the amount of funding. It's always interesting to compare some figures in different countries. You can see you never can beat Switzerland because Switzerland is always on top, and Austria is also very good. Well, we leave Luxembourg a little bit out because they're very small, but Switzerland and Austria, these are the countries who have a big per capita state investment, and you can see that if you go to Switzerland, basically every line is electrified, 100% electrification. If you go to Germany, we are more at the left side, or we have been 2022. In Germany, our network has a 60% degree of electrification. I learned just this morning, UK has 38%. So there's still a lot of things to do. So we need not just constant funding, we also need a high amount of funding. Sorry for the governments, but this is the truth. If you want to go to, if you want to have this change in traffic, then we need not only constant, we need a high funding. All right, these ones I leave for you. I heard you will see the presentations will be given to you later on, so the next 2 months I will skip a little bit. It's just the amount of money we see in 2024 as the amount. These are about 13 million and some other ones, but then as we heard this morning, the government always is in struggling, probably everywhere, where to give the money to. We had a High Court ruling in last year that all of a sudden from a climate fund, the money was not allowed to give to infrastructure funding. So all of a sudden about 50 billion euro went away for the government, and now they have to find other sources to fund the infrastructure. So this is sure difficult, but these 2 slides, I just skip a little bit. These are more as a backup for you later on. Coming to explain one source of constant funding. Before 2009, we had no basic agreement between the industry, Deutsche Bahn, and the government how to fund maintenance work. We had a long-term plan for new lines, which was one fund, but there was just occasional funding for maintenance. Whenever it was necessary, then, we need money for this or that maintenance, and then it was dropped in. And so we did not have a constant funding. So they tried to change that in 2009 by establishing a new law, which is called the Performance and Financing Agreement. That was made between the government and all sections of Deutsche Bahn. And so that idea was to provide, on one hand, a constant funding for what we call replacement investments. So these are investments, this is important, these are investments which are more or less a complete renewal. So these are not the maintenance, it's complete renewal. When a section is so worn out that it needs to be completely replaced, then this will be funded by this law. And the backside of that one I will tell you a little bit later because it has a backside too. But in return, the railway infrastructure companies must guarantee that there is a certain amount of quality in the network, that it's really available, that you have a certain availability, and they have some key figures written down how that availability has to be looked out. Yeah, and the good thing is of this commitment that after 2009 it went to 2014, and then in 2019 it was increased into a 10-year agreement. So not only 5 years anymore, now we have a 10-year plan. That's very helpful for us in the industry because in the issue of having a long-term and constant funding, this amount of money really is guaranteed. We will see this in one of the next slides, but this is something the industry can really rely on. So we do not have this ups and downs. The money from this LUF is really constant. So we can build now engineering and construction forces based on at least on those numbers, which is really helpful, and we have seen the benefit of this already. But some negative aspects have risen too. If you just fund the replacements, then there is some kind of chance that you try to leave the line as long as it's possible until it falls into the category now it's worn out. And we will see something about this just a few minutes. I just wanted to show you how it looks like. We start with about 7 or 8 billion a year, and then it goes up until 2029 to about 10 billion euro. But this is just replacement for maintenance, for replacement works for the existing network, not new network, new lines or things like that. They have an extra fund. All right, so I tell you now how we try to do this. The money, the thing about the realization, and I couldn't resist to give you this. There was a press statement just a few days ago about the championship by the way, congratulations. As a German, I a little bit envy you. I have to say that, but besides of that, you can see the part of the translation. So the speaker of German Bahn had to admit, in fact, we weren't quite up to speed. Our traffic at the European Championship wasn't running smoothly, and so far 6 million people have traveled long distance by train. So it's a huge rush, but the infrastructure in Germany is, it's old and outdated and not reliable. That was a challenge for us too. So now we have seen 2009, now we are at 2024. It's 15 years later, and we ran into these kind of problems. So the law not only did help. You see, and this is because, as a side note, too many lines have been forced into the state of now we need a complete renewal. We have waited too long, and now what can we do about it? The new Ministry of Transport in 2022, he was reviewing all this, and then they came up with this, what we call a high-performance corridor. This is a really big issue now in the industry, because as you could see, starting from this year, basically from next Monday on, because then we have the first corridor started, the transport minister and Deutsche Bahn in the next years, they want to remodel 4,000 kilometers of track. And just, you see all those plans, everything what's green shall be done by the end of the year. That'll be a major challenge. This is not a small challenge, this is a really big challenge. And it's a plan. We are going to see in 5 days on how this is going to work. You can imagine we will close down the line. There's no traffic at all anymore on this line. The line is down for 6 months, not only 5. The initial idea was 5 months, but then it has been extended to 6 months. And now with methods like lean management and all kind of project management, what you can imagine, all disciplines were brought together to do it all in once. And as you can see, and it was mentioned before, it's always a basic problem. Construction hinders the traffic hinders the construction. It's always a mess. And so we tried to get a clear place and work everything in once. But with that idea, you have to have a perfect logistic. This is a major challenge. And we will see how this will end up in December. You can maybe hear in the news how the first line will work. The solution, you can see building measures, 43 sections, up to nine sections per year. This is just amazing to get this done with part of the industry. And it's also a big challenge, by the way, for the freight traffic, because the freight traffic has to take a lot of detours, which are very costly, so they cannot compete with the trucks anymore. So these are issues, side effects, which all have been taken care of. Okay, so just this is the idea. As I said, from 20 to 24 to 23, and in 6 years, we're going to see, huh? This is a plan. And we have another different model, which we may have taken from you here in the UK, which is an alliance model. The Danes are coming across the Fehmarn Belt and friendly. They come with a tunnel, and they want to be there in 2029. And we have a treaty with Denmark once they are there at Fehmarn, that there is not that old diesel line with just one track. That there will be a major line with 2 tracks, completely electrified and well done. And someone was scratching his head recently in Deutsche Bahn saying, 2029, this is just in 5 years, so we need to join efforts. And that's why they have established this alliance model for the southern section from Lübeck to close to Oldenburg. You can see on the red line is a new line, and the yellow ones is the old one-track diesel line, which will be cut off somewhere. lots of discussion you can imagine because of the citizens of those cities. Is it good or bad that we do not have our old line anymore because now you have to travel 8 kilometers outside to the next station? It's still a big issue. And Deutsche Bahn has just contracted, is just in the procedure of contracting the industry to join the forces and bring the idea the best together from all disciplines into one model, all the different disciplines with strategic management team. There are highly established teams, management and project management team, and under that we have the realization team that will have or include all the disciplines like lead design, civils and infrastructure, in different parts. It will include the track work, and it will also will be done the OCS in the part 8. So we shall be brought all together into once, and all problems, all discussions, all the solutions need to be found in these teams together, basically working together out the solution, not always saying, oh, I cannot work because this is track work, this is OCS, I have to wait. You have to work out a common solution. And again, we will see in 5 years, maybe 6 years, how this works out. It'll be more costly, this is for sure, because you do not know any costs yet. We have no costs at all. We do not know. We have just a guideline. But so far, we have just a little bit part of design. And once we get the contract, if we get the contract in October 2024, we have to develop those target costs until 2025, mid of 2025, for the whole line, just in the OLE. Yeah, if you have just preliminary design, how to calculate the target cost, that will be a major challenge. And then, once you have calculated the target cost, this is mandatory. It has been set. Once no parameters have been changed, there's no change in the money anymore. So, challenge. We're going to see. This is the first, now this is the third time actually we do this in Germany. 2 new projects are already underway, but we do not have any experience yet about those to talk about. All right, then we go to the next topic, which is one of my favorites, honestly, which is training, and how could we get the people we need? Because this is an ongoing challenge, and I was always involved into that challenge because I have my own design group, and I had always these very experienced engineers and drafters and all them together working, but some of them, and most of them, have been retired over the years. So I've seen those going. Just recently, I was sitting in the office, and I had a feeling, oh, am I the last one who is blowing out the candle? But no, that didn't happen. We really had to come up with ideas how to recruit people and to train them, and to keep them, not to train and get them. But how? How do we do this? We think it's for talking about, let's say, the people with the collars, the people inside the bureaus, the offices. We think it's good to establish mentor people who really work closely with the new one who's coming in. They sit opposite to each other at least for 2 years, and they really sit together, let's say 3 days a week, sometimes 2 days, so they really sit in an office. So all the questions coming up, the mentor is just walking around to the other table, explaining him in detail what his question could be and how the answer could look like. And also having them sitting basically in some rooms closely next by. These are the questions coming up, I say you didn't know in the morning that you have this question. But then you hear it from another one next to you, and then you say, oh, this is my problem too. And so immediately you find a solution commonly. So that is important. We need something inspiring for the young people too. Why to go into this business? Huh? Why the hell is track work and OLE design and the things, why is this interesting? And a conference like this could be one of those milestones, to share, to come together with other people and see you have the same problem than I have when I was, when I came into the industry. We need an environment where the rules and laws are understandable. In Germany, we have about 4,000 drawings in regards of what you have to have in mind just to do all the OCS design works. 4,000 drawings, I even don't know half of them. Yeah, at least I know where to find them. But this is difficult. So I heard in the UK last night, you also have certain OLED systems. Yeah, you have Master Series, Series 2, HS2. These are all different systems. They need not only to be maintained. These are general drawings a designer has to have in mind. He has to understand all those drawings and how they have to be put together. So sometimes it's good to keep systems simple and not too well. We are Germans, we like drawings and boom, boom, boom. And we put them all together, 4,000 drawings. But for young people, this is not maintainable anymore and explainable. And sure, we have to ensure also an appropriate pay. But now I come back to the constant funding and the right amount of money. If that's been guaranteed, we can pay our people the right amount of money. We can provide them a future where we can say, if you want, you can stay in this business. You can stay old. You can get old here. You can develop yourself. You have certain opportunities. And my experience with those messages, we get the people. We really got the people. And now the amount of age in my team is probably somewhere around, I have never calculated, but somewhere around 40 maybe. So we really have young people, 25-year-old drafter who comes in, and then they later on develop as an engineer. So because there is no clear barrier between drafter and engineer. Why not doing some engineering stuff once you understood what you're doing there as a drafter? So just go forward, just skip all those different rules and make it flexible. And look for the people, what are their abilities and what can they do? And then we come to the major challenge, which is even higher. This was just about the people inside the office. And then the thing is, and now I have to go a little bit quicker forward, we have to establish training possibilities to train the people on site, to get the people really on site with trainings. And you can see we have established in Powerlines, but not only in Powerlines, basically in every OLE company, we have put together training facilities where we train people on the ground and really clamp by clamp to explain them how it works. We have established training programs for linespersons to go through with different courses and really to make clear what's necessary if you go out there. And then we found really this helpful. We have developed certain qualifications and schedules, how one could be trained into what kind of step. And that one helped us to have an understanding just internally already to what we need to do to get people. So, I come to my final point then. This was company-wise. But we have to take a bigger effort. We have to join forces in that one too. So in Germany, all the companies basically joined forces in an association, what we called, of the German railway industry. And in Germany, we have certain professions, but we do not have a profession for an OLE linesperson. We just don't have that. So we were trying to establish a pure profession for these people. And you can see this is just a little imagination. The first year, you go out there and have done theory and practice. In the second year, they already go out on the construction side. And in the third year, this is what we do. This is really certification inside. We provide these new people in internal training. And at the end of the third year, I wouldn't know how to translate Geselle because this is a German profession title. But this is a title which you really have. And after 3 years, you can go into every company and you have that certification and you have the experience and everybody knows what you are able to do. As you see here, there's again the training facilities takes a lot of amount of time to do this. Doing foundations, this is an education center, so it has been established as well outside somewhere, which is a neutral one for doing this for all the companies. And my almost final slide is coming to this one. We have certain areas of joint forces. We have workshops with Deutsche Bahn where they do and provide us those commitment numbers. You see, this is really fascinating because you can see now, not even in Germany, we do not have constant funding. Right now, it's this way. At least we have the base amount of funding. But then we have a steer climbing of numbers. This will be a major challenge to get this done, all in the network, to really find the projects getting been done. That's why we need all those people, and that's why I think it's necessary to get those. Yeah, and coming to my final slide, or slides, or it's the final slide, I'd like to share this one. Deutsche Bahn just recently made a video of that was a really good one about this high-performance corridor, about the first one. And it was a bit self-critical. It shows all the hindrances, the problems, but also the success stories. And that's important to get young people into our team, that they say, okay, I connect with the other ones. They face the same problems, but it's worth it. At the end of the day, it's also some kind of fun. And the end of the video, it's in German, but the end of the video ends with this one. We start at the 15th of July, 6 months, not only 5 anymore. And that's what we're going to do. We have to build 15 kilometers of sound barriers, 20 new stations, 117 kilometers of new track, 152 switches, signals, 1,200 and 1,200, 40,000 balises. So these were all the numbers they want to completely renew in 6 months. And the video ends up with this sentence, and I really found this funny. And 84 million who believe that we fail. So that was my presentation, because I hope we do not fail, and it'll be fun and it'll be a challenge, and we will win at the end of the day. Thank you very much for your